Welcome, families, to our virtual back to school night. I'm Mr. Clark.
I'm Miss McIntosh.
And I'm Miss Mowbray.
And we are going to be your fourth grade teachers for the year. We're going to be using this back to school night a little bit differently than normal. Normally, you'd be in the building here with us and be welcoming you into our classrooms and excited to see all of you. But we're still excited to give you the information and let you know about what we're going to be doing here in fourth grade this year. So we're going to walk you through some slides. And this is going to be more general information about what students are going to be doing in fourth grade throughout the year, whether we're in remote learning or in person. We're just going to talk about some general concepts. We'll give you more detailed information later when we find out about when students are coming back and that sort of thing. But this is just, like I said, more general information about what they're going to be doing this year. Do you want to add anything to that, Miss Mack?
Yeah, it's like a jumping off point. So welcome to fourth grade.
Awesome. All right, so first things first, Miss Mack, you're first.
Miss Mack. So Miss McIntosh, but the kids often call me Miss Mack. That's fine. I've been teaching for such a long time, 30 years, 29 years here in Boulder Valley, 13 years here at Emerald as a dragon trainer. I have my master's in instruction and curriculum. I also have a 14-year-old daughter, Maggie, who went to preschool here at Emerald, and she's starting high school at Legacy High School this year. I love singing, dancing, and nature, and I am super excited to teach fourth grade. I have spent most of my career teaching third, fourth, and fifth graders.
Awesome. And I am Mr. Clark. This is my 11th year teaching and my 4th year here at Emerald. I'm also working on my doctorate degree at University of Colorado in Denver for leadership. Some of the things I love is hiking, snowboarding, playing board games. I'm also a big fan of the Chicago Cubs, so go Cubs. And then my daughter Addison is a dragon here. She is in 2nd grade, and she's been here since kindergarten, and I'm really excited to have her at the school with me as well.
And I'm Miss Mowbray. So I am a senior at CU Boulder right now, and I'm studying elementary education with a minor in Spanish. So this year I'll be Mr. Clark's student teacher. I'll be here 4 days a week, just learning from him and also learning from Miss Mack. And I'm very excited. I was born and raised right outside San Francisco in California. Fun fact about me, I have a twin sister. So I put in my photos which one I am so you can see that. And she's studying at the University of Oregon, and she's doing family human services. So very similar. Some things I like to do are singing, traveling, and just spending time with friends and family.
So the platform that we're going to be using this year, as you're probably familiar with, is called Schoology. Last year we used something called Google Classroom, and we made the switch over to Schoology this year. I think that it's been working out pretty well for the students. It's a little bit more organized and helps them keep their coursework and the work that we've been doing in class a little bit more organized, a little bit easier to find so far. Obviously, as with everything so far, things have their glitches and a little bit of a learning curve. But I think that since the beginning of the school year till now, the kids have really started to get it a little bit easier. And even when we do go back into in-person learning, we're going to continue to use Schoology because even in 4th grade, we still use technology. Not as much as we are right now, but we'll still be using it a lot to do things like research and typing up, writing assignments like final drafts and that sort of thing. So we will continue to use Schoology. And so if you have any questions around it or need tech support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or the office here at Emerald, and we are happy to give you that support.
Okay, here is our daily schedule. The kids have written this out and should have it posted near their workspace at home, but you also have access to it as well. We have our morning meeting. The kids should be on at 8 o'clock, and during the morning meeting, we check in. We write in our planners the work that we're going to be doing during the day so that if anything happens with internet access, any kind of a problem that happens, they still know what they're doing because they've written it down in their planner. And if they need to do it offline, they can for the most part. Then at 8:15, from 8:15 to 9, we have writing time. And we'll tell you more about what writing looks like and when we talk about content. From 9 to 9:45, the kids go to specials. That's either art, music, or PE. And in this online environment, they go to that specials for 2 weeks in a row before they switch. And then after specials, they have 15 minutes of recess. So we'd like them to get away from the screen for a while, get a drink, go to the bathroom, maybe get a snack, and hopefully get some outside time. Then come back at 10 o'clock sharp, we say, for math, because that's our math time in between 10 and 11. And then our reading gets split before and after lunch. So we do reading part 1 from 11 to 11:30. We kind of do our lesson, set up what we're going to do for the afternoon. Then the kids have lunch from 11:30 to 12:15. And again, we really hope they get some time away from the screen, outside, drink plenty of water, use the restroom, do what they need to do for that 45 minutes. And then we tell them 12:15 sharp, come back for the second part of reading where we'll finish up what we set up that we're doing for the afternoon. And then at 1:15, we'll do a social studies or science lesson. Right now we're doing social studies, and when we're done with that unit, we'll probably flip over to a science unit. And then the end of the day ends with an interactive read aloud. And so we read a book and the kids are interacting with us about the book. We really use those books to help us springboard our reading lessons. So that's what the schedule looks like.
Yeah, and one of the things we're doing is we're trying to also keep an eye on students and kind of how they're feeling, and hopefully if they're starting to get a little fatigued, we're also trying to add some other breaks into there as well so that kids can have the chance to stand up, move around, because you know, and we understand that in online learning, there's a lot of just setting and that's not great for students either. So we're trying to give them some brain breaks as well.
Brain breaks through, yeah, especially during the afternoon, which is a little longer for them. We always try to give them a break in there too.
Yeah. So one of the things that we are using this year, and I think they started last year in 3rd grade, but we're really trying to use their planners a lot. And so the reason that we want them to use these planners is as support for when they go into middle school, and then they can be successful and be very organized with what they're doing. So when we're in the online or remote learning, we're using the planners as kind of like a daily schedule. And so we are having them write down all their assignments for the day so that if there are times when they get kicked off of the computer or they have to go away, you know, or whatever, for whatever reason they can't be in the meet with us, they still kind of know what they're supposed to get done throughout the day. Now, always we're going to have students be reading 25 or more minutes per day. That's going to be their expectation throughout the whole year. But when we're doing remote learning, we're not going to add on any additional homework. Like, we recognize that it's a very tough day for kids to be on the computers all day. And by the time that 2:30 comes around, they're pretty worn out. So we're not going to be adding any additional homework. But when we switch to in-person learning, they will have some homework. And that's kind of an Emerald expectation that from 1st grade all the way up through 5th grade, we kind of start building a little bit more and a little bit more, again, to help them get in preparation for when they're in middle school. You know, we don't want them to go straight from elementary school with nothing to middle school with a lot of high expectations of homework. So the idea is to build up that work ethic and just to be able to be really strong learners both during the day and then after school as well. So we'll use the homework, the planner at that point when we switch back to in-person to write down their different homework assignments they'll have that night. And so in 4th grade, we'll do that 25 minutes of reading. And then on top of that, there'll be 3 other assignments. And it's not going to be very long assignments, but it'll be things. One of the assignments might be something like, tell your parents about what you learned in social studies today. Another one might be a math worksheet that kind of reinforces the math concept that we did that day. And then the third thing that we found that kids really enjoy doing might be something around writing, like some cursive practice or something like that. We don't typically teach cursive in the classroom, but we did find that it's a really strong thing to do for homework, and kids really enjoy doing that too, so that it doesn't really feel like homework. But those will come home those should come home every day, and so you'll know what students need to do for their homework each night.
Right. And during remote learning, their homework basically is to finish whatever they didn't get finished during the day. That's the expectation, is that if they didn't finish some piece of work that we wrote in the planner, that they finish it for homework.
All right, so for the finished work folders, I'm sure you're all a little bit familiar with that, but we wanted to give you more information on that. So every student was provided with 2 different folders, and those are just to switch off every couple of weeks, just to turn in to make it easier for them. So we will let the students know what they should be turning in, but some of the examples would be math worksheets, maybe some sort of writing, or things for social studies or science. So again, we will let the students know what they should be turning in, but it might change a little bit and vary. So the turn-in dates are going to be every other week. And I know that originally we were saying that we would like them turned in on Monday, but we understand that may not be possible. And so we're open to any day of the week, and those bins for dropping them off will be available throughout the week. So here's listed what the weeks will be when they're expected to turn things in. And then after the 9th, it'll kind of just go the every other week.
Hopefully we'll be back in person after that. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
So at Emerald, we really like to reward kids and recognize kids for their positive behavior and for exemplar work. And we have several ways that we do that. The Fired Up ticket at the top is for work where they're showing understanding and performance in their work. And we will write out exactly what they did that was really demonstrating understanding. And that lets kids know what we're looking for in their work. And then the second picture down is a fire ticket, a fire sticker, which is for recognizing behavior. So if we're really seeing a kid show a lot of focus or integrity or respect or empathy, those are the behaviors that we're looking for to make good learners. We'll circle that, and they'll get the sticker. They get to take it down to the fire station and return it for a bead, and they're building a necklace out of that. And then the other thing we have up here in the ULC, and maybe in some other classrooms too, are the green fire tickets. And that's sort of like an incentive. They gather those up, and once they get so many, they can turn those in for some kind of a reward or celebration. So those are ways that we try to recognize kids for their behavior and for their good work. And then we'll, of course, always be in contact with you through email, phone, conferencing, monthly newsletters. And you're always welcome to email us and ask any questions you have or how's it going, and we're happy to let you know.
So now we're getting into some of the content that we're going to be doing this year. So in math, it's a pretty big year. For 4th grade they learn a lot of really big and also new concepts in math. So what we've started with already is working on place value up to 1 million. And so students are really working on how to understand like how numbers work, how to break down numbers and put them back together, and what numbers really mean up to 1 million. Then last year in 3rd grade, they started with multiplication, just single digits, multiplication, division. And so in 4th grade, we take those concepts they learned in 3rd, and then we're really going to build them up. So we're going to do 4-digit by 1-digit numbers like 3,296 times 8. And so we're going to be explaining how to do those big math problems, those big multiplication problems. And then they'll also be doing 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. So like 85 times 96. And so we're going to give them lots of different strategies to do that sort of thing. They're also going to be doing division of up to 4 digits divided by 1 digit, also known as long division. So that's another concept, a big concept that they're going to be working on in 4th grade. And then finally, they're going to be doing a lot of work toward later in the year around fractions. And so then we'll be doing a lot of like equivalent fractions, adding, subtracting fractions, multiplying fractions, and then converting fractions into decimals. And this doesn't actually, and one of the other things we're going to be doing that's not on this list too is also with adding and subtracting. We talked about the place value up to 1 million. They're going to be adding and subtracting bigger and bigger numbers this year too. So there are a lot of really big concepts that that we're going to be working on in math, but it's really fun as well. And then we will do talk about some badges. Badges are something that the kids can earn. Like once they finish a unit and then they've shown that they really understand the concept, then they can earn badges. It's kind of like a fun way for kids to kind of get rewarded for working hard and for really understanding and owning a new concept.
Okay, so for reading, we have a new reading program that we adopted last year for 4th and 5th grade. It's called Fountas and Pinnell Reading Program. We have a lot of components to that. There's the interactive read aloud that I explained earlier. It's a read aloud, but where the kids are interacting with us about the book, and it serves as a jumping off place for our lessons. So what we teach them about reading, we're often referring back to, remember when we read this book and how it had this kind of thing in it. So that's what the interactive read aloud is about. We'll also have guided reading, which are our small groups where kids are reading books right at their reading level that we've identified, and working with maybe another 4 or 5 students and a teacher to improve their reading skills. And then of course we want the kids reading independently, at least 25 minutes or more outside of school every day, plus time to read independently in school. There's also a component of word work and phonics, which is how words fit together. This is kind of where your spelling ties into, but not with a traditional spelling list necessarily, since that hasn't really been proven to help kids with their spelling, but work with the kinds of parts of words and how they work together. And then book clubs, which are, instead of guided reading, the kids are a little more independent. They choose the book that they want to be in instead of being put in a group based on their level. And the kids run the group and talk about the books. So, and then of course, an important component of our reading program is also iReady, which is our diagnostic assessment that we do 3 times a year, a big diagnostic to see where they are. And then iReady will generate lessons for the students specifically on the skills they need to learn to help them move up to the next level. So they'll be taking iReady lessons. They'll be doing iReady lessons every week. We shoot for about 45 minutes spent in the lessons per week. That helps them grow with their reading. Yeah. Our writing this year, we are co-teaching with Mrs. Stoddard and Mrs. Arlington. And so we break out into smaller groups with them to talk about writing. And our forms of writing this year will be writing personal narratives, which is like a story based on things in your life that are personal to you. And then those lead into writing realistic fiction, which is a story that could really happen. And then persuasive writing, which is the next step in opinion writing, where you're really trying to convince or persuade an audience to take action or do something. And that's what we're working on right now in writing. And then informational writing, where they're researching a topic and then writing to share information that they have learned.
In science and social studies, these are some of the reasons that I really love teaching 4th grade. Social studies in 4th grade is all about Colorado. So we're going to be studying how Colorado government works, all about Colorado history, and the geography of Colorado. So it's really something that I'm super interested in, and the kids, once they kind of start digging into it, they really tend to find it really interesting as well. And then on the other side, during our science units in 4th grade, this year we'll do a unit around the sun, moon, and stars, so some astronomy. We'll talk about animal adaptations and then where they live, so their environment and things like that. And then we also do a unit around energy and magnetism, and that's really fun. So we're going to start out our year with social studies. So we've started doing a unit on advocating, and we're going to be learning about how the government works. And then eventually the students are going to find a topic that they are passionate about, a change that they would like to see in the state. And then they're going to advocate to our state representatives what they believe the change should be. So it's going to really involve, we're tying in a lot of different subjects. So we're going to be doing some writing around that, that persuasive writing that Ms. Mack was talking about. We're going to be doing some nonfiction work in reading so that they can learn about how to do research and that sort of thing. And then they'll obviously be learning about how the government works and who they need to talk to make those changes. So like I said, I'm really excited. That's one of my favorite parts of teaching fourth grade. And that's about all we have for you. So normally this would be the time in the back to school night where we open it up for questions for you. So if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. These are our emails. Hopefully you have them already. We've sent out a few parent communications at this point. So if you don't have our emails or haven't been receiving those, please let us know, and we will make sure to get that updated in our system and in Infinite Campus. But I think that's about all we have for you. Ms. Mack or Ms. Mowbray, is there anything else you want to add?
Welcome to fourth grade. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And like I said, contact us if you need anything. Otherwise, hopefully we'll be seeing you in person soon. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.